I believe abortion should be legal. Oh, here we go.
Do you believe abortion should be illegal?
I absolutely think abortion should be legal. I believe in the freedom of choice, and I believe that everybody should have the right to do as they please, regardless of what I think religiously or what I have my own in my home or in my heart and in my mind. That shouldn't affect how other people should have the right to do things.
The way I look at it is, if you did it and you're pregnant,
You have to keep the baby?
If it was an accident, like, you know what you got yourself into, there's a living person in you now. But if it was against your will, then okay, I'd say
That's the only time they can do it?
Yeah.
Only if it was against their will.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's
fair.
That's my opinion.
Fair.
That's my opinion.
Fair. Okay. All right. Let's see what the women have to say.
Abortion should be legal.
They're all gonna.
3, 2,
Oh, they're all gonna go agree.
Okay. One person went left. Interesting. Everybody extremely agreed. Strongly agreed.
I think it's circumstantial because I do believe there are instances where if the mother is going to be severely harmed by a birth, that is where abortion would be okay in my belief. And I think the exception also would be in the cases of rape. But all other circumstances where you made a choice, I'm pro-life. I think we all deserve a chance.
That's
at
you.
life.
That's
I
you.
definitely second
Okay.
that. I agree with that statement, but I feel like the heavy
Interesting.
restrictions that are placed on it by our government, just dictating what we can do with our bodies, is really infuriating. And then seeing people who have kids and resent it for the rest of their lives and raising children that they never wanted, it's frustrating.
And so do
Absolutely.
you think that those parents that are struggling with raising their children, that they didn't have the option for adoption or other ways?
It depends. Like, for a lot of cultures, adoption is not okay, so they would not be able to do that.
I support the Me Too movement.
What's the Me Too movement?
Oh. Oh God.
What is this? Who is you? What do you do?
Bro, you don't know what the Me Too movement is?
No.
Oh boy. Okay, well, the Me Too movement, with variations of related local and international names, is a movement against sexual harassment and sexual abuse where people publicly publicize allegations of sex crimes committed by powerful and or prominent men. Yeah. Did you live under a rock or?
No, I just didn't know there was a movement for it. Like, I
It
understand.
was like a huge thing. It was like all of 2017, 18.
Like with the whole Bill Cosby thing and
Yeah.
Okay, now I
And
know what you're talking
Weinstein.
about. Yeah. Okay, I just didn't know it's called the Me Too movement. Whoa.
You're not on social media at all.
I'm just gonna go ahead and step off the camera.
All right, I'll take it from here. Okay.
Well, at the heart of it, I think that the Me Too movement is about women that have been in situations, whether it's work or personal, where they haven't been in a safe space to speak up or share. And the burden that's on us to protect men or other people by not speaking what has happened to us is actually, can be like PTSD. It's like traumatic to your system. Like, I experienced going through being sexually harassed, and this happened in 2013, and I still have never come out about it.
Statistically speaking, like, the number of women who are raped, there's exponentially more than who actually report it. So when I think about the Me Too movement, like, there's strength in numbers. You know, when it started, I was like, I don't know if I want to post about this. I don't know how I feel, but what it did do was it gave me the strength to actually share with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's strength in numbers, you know. And the only thing that I kind of raised an eyebrow at like in the later stages of this movement was basically there were a lot of false accusations being made. Just recently, Justin Bieber was accused of doing something with somebody at a specific hotel at a specific time. And Justin Bieber went on Twitter and he brought receipts and he's like, it's literally impossible that this happened and this person is just clout chasing or they're trying to get some attention and whatnot. And so I agree with the overall principle and the movement in terms of empowering women and empowering. I think that everybody should be empowered to speak up against
Anything.
sexual abuse,
Yes.
regardless
Agreed.
of the gender.
Agreed.
But I do understand that it may be happening more with women in terms of being intimidated and whatnot, especially around the world in other countries or cultures. There was some room for abuse and taking advantage. And I think the larger conversation is that there's no consequence for a false accusation.
I've seen many of those. Like, I've seen stories about stuff like that, man. It's scary.
And so when
Like-
when you remove the accountability or you remove the burden of proof, when you're guilty until proven innocent, and all it takes is an allegation, not a judge, not a jury, not the actual legal system to determine your innocence or your guilt, then it gets a little bit murky, it gets a little bit gray, and the court of public opinion is now in session, which is a very, very dangerous, slippery slope.
So dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I believe the world would be better if it were run by women. 3, 2, 1.
Agree. Oh, look at that. Strongly disagree. Let's go.
That's me.
First wave jean jacket. I like her.
That's me, literally.
Me too.
Not because I don't think it shouldn't be run by women, but I think it should be run by somebody who is responsible enough to control everything in a proper way,
And somebody
regardless of your gender.
preach. Hell yeah. Amen. Yeah, I believe that it should be run by the most qualified person,
Literally.
human being. Could we start there?
How is that any different than saying I believe that the world would be better if it were run by men? Like, if we're gonna say that on this token, we get that on that token.
I love
That's
her.
not balanced at all.
I love
I
her.
think what my thought process is in the current state that we're in right now, then I think that it would be once we get to the place where we are able to raise our children the same way, and like women aren't afraid to like go outside and like
The current state of where we are right now is not. It's not a result of it being males. It's a result of being really terrible, corrupt, terrorizing human beings that are in positions of power. Like, that's not. It's not a gender.
Nothing
issue.
to do with gender.
So you can't flip. Oh, well, there's only two to choose from. So it's like, well, if it's not working there, like, why don't we expand a little bit more on the morality of these people, of the dignity of these people, like of the human compass, like of these people. Like, that's where we need to start. The psychological, the spiritual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so
That's
weird.
That's the
Like,
thing
guys
with like
don't have-
today's society in general. Everything is about gender and gender.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
like-
too simplistic.
Yeah, like certain things have nothing to do with gender. It's just about a specific
Human.
Yeah, a specific human being with specific morals, personalities, or who can do the job properly or not. It has nothing to do with the gender at all.
Yeah, qualifications.
Qualifications all day.
That's it.
have like toxic
Your
masculinity,
merits.
then it's like anybody can run the country and like it's all going to be the same because we're all raised the same. But I think for right now in the place that we're in, I think women have a better understanding of that.
But I think it's hard because when you have little boys that are growing up that are just not even accountable, or nor should they be, for things that men, their fathers might have done, or their grandfathers, and then saying like women should be running the world. It's the same thing where how is that different than in the 1950s, 7-year-old little girls were told men should be in positions of power.
Maybe if we had more women in leadership.
She's saying she's basically describing that it had a negative effect back then. It had a negative effect back then when they were saying only men should run the world. She's saying that it's gonna have the same impact if we do it the other way.
It's literally the exact same thing.
The result is the same,
Yeah.
regardless of which direction it's going in.
C-suite in Congress. Like, if we have more women in leadership, period, it doesn't have to be running the world, maybe. But if we just had more women and women of color, different backgrounds, like if we had more diversity in general in leadership around the world, it would be a better place.
If more women entered in politics, I don't know what the statistics are. If more women entered in politics and were qualified and successful and were deserving, then fine. You know, there's zero issue with that. But don't just say we need more women and women of color, where it's like, well, the success of this political position is not dependent on the color of your skin.
Not at all.
Or the gender.
Not at all.
It's dependent on what you can do as a human being.
And what your intentions are in that position.
Yeah.
Like, what do you plan to do? Are you going to be corrupt? Are you going to do it for yourself? Or are you going to do it for the people?
Yeah. It's like a surgeon. It's like a heart surgeon. Like, they're only talking about this politically, but a heart surgeon's going to come in and they're going to use all their skills and their intellect and their brilliance to do one of the most complex procedures known to humankind. but yet we're gonna say we need to have more of this gender or of this race just to show a little bit more equality, when it's funny how when it comes to health, like nobody's bothering with that.
Yeah, literally.
Because it's a matter of life and
It's
death.
the same concept though, in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, literally, like.
That's why I chose this one too, because I don't think it should be one or the other. I definitely think that when it's only man run, they're missing the rest of society. You
Right.
can't really operate the world or any government or leadership if you're not embracing the second half of society.
I think the problem with what some people think feminist
I do agree with that. I think that there should be a larger voice, a more representative voice for sure.
Okay.
But that's still that can still happen through committees and through think tanks and through organizations that make sure that they're heard
Yeah.
by whoever was qualified enough to be elected and to win that position.
I think the problem with what some people think feminism is that you have to bring people down in order to raise people up, but you don't have to do that. Like you can raise women up to be in positions of power without pushing men down. And
I
I
agree.
think that is a misconception with feminism.
Interesting.
Ooh, that was great.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, that was a really good conversation, man.
Yeah.
Everybody was really respectful. Wow, that was awesome.
I actually like that.
Yeah, that was
That's
cool,
fun.
eh?
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, so all women obviously don't think the same.
No.
I loved it, and you had such a great diversity of background and culture and everything, like opinions. That was cool.
I told you all women don't think the same. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You said you knew what women thought, and that they all thought the same.
No, I did not. No, I didn't.
Oh boy.